the horse, and
Oh,
yeah, I had a hard enough time even then getting on and off. So I figured if they were trying to throw me off, that was not going to be a good thing for me. Yeah.
Okay, so you're from Utah, right? Would you consider yourself born country?
I think so. I think if you grow up, Roosevelt's a little bit isolated out there. It's definitely a high plain mountain area, oil field type community, and so I grew up around a farm where I milked a cow by hand every morning and night, and got to see all the ins and outs of the farm life. So, I related to country music more than anything else, and plus, I think my dad had me convinced that the only thing that played on the radio was country. So I didn't even know there was any other music for a lot of years.
Yeah. So how did you get, what made you want to become a country singer?
Well, I started off just singing at different events and competitions. My mom kind of pushed me in that direction, and I always enjoyed the experience of performing. I love the way I look at performing, as it's grown, is that it's an opportunity for me to hopefully create moments for other people, and music has that impact and that capability of reaching people and creating feelings that maybe they're not, it's just this thing, and I just fell in love with that thing, that ability to go out there and do that and create for other people. And plus I had a deep passion listening to it. You see kids walk around with their headphones in all day long, and kind of their soundtrack to their life, and country music was definitely a big part of that, and I wanted to see if I could be a part of that for somebody else as well.
Awesome. When you were first performing, were you nervous at all?
Oh yeah, I still get nervous. I don't necessarily get nervous about performing as I do about connecting with the audience and trying to figure out what that particular audience needs. Every audience is just like a living being, and it could be the weather, it could be the stage setup, all these different things affect it. It could be the cause why you're there. All of that, you have to take that into play and try to figure out how to connect with them. But I still get nervous. There's really two moments that make me the most nervous, and that's singing the national anthem. And I haven't messed it up too bad yet, because it just has no room for error, and you're out there isolated. And then playing at somebody's funeral gets me nervous, because I just know they're not going to do that over again. I'm not going to get a makeup on that one. You just don't want to ever be a distraction from what it is. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was the first album you ever released?
The very first album I did was in college. My college roommate and I decided to make an album and go down to this little studio that was in Rexburg, Idaho. And we went down there and we did it. We took every song we had written and we put it on a record, and we took that first experience, and I think we printed 1,000 of them, which we thought, that's not that many, until they show up at your house and they're sitting there, and you got 10 boxes of these 100 CDs, and then we went door to door, and we set up a booth, and we sold every one of those. And I honestly feel if I see those people again, I owe them a refund, because it really wasn't that good. And I appreciate their donation to my career to get started.
So you've mentioned that when you were doing those new albums, you were writing your own songs. Do you still write your own music today?
Yeah, I'll write about half to 2/3 of the songs on the albums, but I've got so many great songwriters, friends.
Yeah.
And one of the things I try to do when I put together an album is I want to find songs that I can relate to, but I might not necessarily would have written. I kind of lock myself into a certain writing style, and to break that monotony up on the record, I'll pull in outside songs, somebody else's songs, and record those, so I just have a different flavor of kind of song on the record.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So with your first albums, did you think that they were going to be successful, or were you going into it like, man, I hope these sell?
Yeah, I think both.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be successful, and I felt like the quality of the albums were good. Well, maybe not the first one. I guess a little bit of being naive being ignorant is bliss, right? You kind of thought it was great at the time, and sometimes you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, that was awful. I thought that was great at the time. You guys will have moments like that, I promise. As you get in this career, you're thinking, I nailed it, and then later on you're like, oh, we're gonna hide that over in the corner over there.
So you mentioned you write some of your own music. What's your favorite song that you've written?
That's hard because each song you kind of pour a little bit of yourself into, and so songs that have probably resonated the most to my audience are a song called Hero at Home, another one called That Mountain. I'm trying to think of some other ones that seem to have, no matter what scenario I'm in, have an impact on the audience. I kind of judge the value of a song, just how much impact it has, how if I can use it and affect people, and those are probably the two I've seen the most reaction from. And I have another one called Duct Tape and Baling Wire, which I never thought anyone would really like because it was so redneck, and then I realized I'm not alone in this world,
That's awesome.
the redneck world. So.
That's amazing. So you have so much music out. What do you aspire to do with your music in the future, and what kind of impact do you hope it has on people?
We always hope you have a positive influence on people with music, and again, I think that our whole approach when we take the stage live or produce anything is to create moments for other people, create situations where, again, they're going to feel something or that's going to be a memorable, good, positive experience. And so I want my music to be that way. I don't shy away from tough subjects in it, but I do have plans on putting out new music. As your life changes and you get different perspectives, it allows you to kind of dig deeper. You hear that? My voice is cracked. I call that puberty flashbacks. And it's not necessarily good for your music career. Anyway, but yeah, so I want to dig, I want to take maybe a new angle on some things and see how it goes and create a new record. And I think once you start writing and producing music, you always have stuff that brews in the back of your mind that you're going to put out someday.
So little change of subject. What's the most embarrassing or funny moment that has happened in your performing?
Is performing wise?
Yes.
Oh man, we've had so many. I don't know how. I remember one time. This was not necessarily embarrassing as much as it was like panic, right? We went out. We were playing in front of like 10,000 people at this event at the Salt Palace. And at the time, I had a fiddle player named Lindsay Sterling, who's gone on and done pretty amazing things. But we had this track that she was going to play to, and they had sent me this track on an email, and I had downloaded it, and I sent it over to the guy, the front of house guy, to play it when Lindsay was on stage. Well, it was a track. I grabbed a wrong track. It was actually a track by Miranda Ross, who goes to school here.
Yeah.
She had sent me something for some other reason, and I grabbed her track. And so they're playing this song, which is completely an opposite. And we kept trying to play it like 3 times, and I was just panicking. Finally, Lindsay says, I got this, and she just went solo, and then just blew them out of the water. But I've gone out, forgotten lyrics to songs, how they start. I've gotten in the wrong key and literally asked my audience to sing it for me because I couldn't figure out where I was. But most of the time, I just own it. I'm just like, I remember I've had times where I've forgotten my show clothes. Just recently, like I was opening for Colin Ray, and I got down to Colorado, and it was a hot day. This was a while ago, but I did this the other day too. I had some shorts on and some flip-flops. And 15 minutes before the show, I realized I got to go out there, and so I literally had to run to the nearest Walmart and grab a pair of pants that I knew would fit, and I made it back to the show, but the pants were about 3 sizes too big. Oh no! And so literally, I was using twine to tie around my waist and tied it. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. But yeah, nowadays we carry a whole duffel bag of extra clothes in case I forget something. Yeah, it's awful.
So do you forget things often in like your daily life?
I do forget things. I get scattered. I have that creativity sometimes that goes, and when I get locked into this situation, then or into this thought period, sometimes everything around me just disappears, and I definitely have to check myself a lot.
Me too.
Me too. I can
Good.
I
relate.
think most people can relate to that. I'm
Yeah.
very forgetful myself.
Yeah.
So where would you say is your favorite place to perform at?
I've had some really great places. It's hard because you get different places that are special for different reasons. Some are more intimate, some are big, some are more beautiful, some are more nostalgic. So I love playing the Sandy Amphitheater. I've had a relationship with them for years, and we always seem to do well down there. I just love working with them, and that's one of my favorite venues.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So to kind of prepare for the show, we were listening to a whole bunch of your music, and you're really good, by the way.
Oh,
But
thank you.
one of your music videos, me and a couple of my friends in this class were watching, and we just kind of thought how interesting it was. And we'd never acted in a music video, and we were kind of wondering how you prepare for something like
For
that.
a music video?
Mhm.
Which video did you watch?
That mountain.
That mountain. That one is, a lot of the songs I write are very literal, and so it's not necessarily metaphorical. So you don't, you can, and that's the approach. Sometimes you can take this literal approach to the video, and you can say, okay, we got this scene, and we want to depict this scene. But really, for me, you'll learn in this business, probably the most important thing you can do is bring the right people to the party. And what that means is you have the right people on camera, you have the right people on audio, you have the right people sitting here. And for me, it's hiring the right video guy that can make the edits, and then giving them your vision, but then not being locked into something so tight that you're not willing to be flexible. So a lot of times I'll take a song and then I just storyboard it. Say, okay, this is what I kind of think, and then we're as flexible as we can from there. We probably pick maybe 5 different locations, and then we go shoot that and then edit it and flip it as much as we can. That's how we did it anyway. But for me as a singer, I mean, the lyrics, the script is already laid out there, right? So you're just lip syncing to yourself. It's weird, but it is what it is.
So when did you have like your first official performance, or like any performance, like maybe in front of your family or friends?
Oh, I didn't take music that serious. I was, 12, 10 when I started singing just a little bit. And then as far as like trying to do it for a living, I moved to Nashville right out of college. And then when I came back to Utah, I decided to do music. And that was in like 2005 or 6. And the first show we went to, and that's one of those moments where you look back and you're like, oh my gosh. We played this show in Draper, and our sound system that we provided cut the whole power about 2 songs in. And so we had no PA for the rest of the show and ended up canceling the show, and I almost threw the towel in then. So it was awesome.
Yeah, so after you've gone as far as you've gone today, what would you say were like the biggest influences to get you where you are?
Well, of course, the support of your family is really important. Trying to figure out, because what's crazy about this business, and if you're doing what I do, is I am the product. So it's hard to sometimes balance whether or not you're chasing a dream for the right reasons. Is it are you giving up certain things that are more important than other things? So your family, having that in balance is very important. But other influences, I've got a guy by the name of Tony Martin, who's a really good friend of mine. He's written, I think, 15 or 16 number ones, and he's a huge mentor of mine, and so I get to visit with him quite often about songwriting and different things, and I worked for him on Music Row, so he's a huge influence of mine. And then I just have a bunch of peers and friends that I've always leaned on whenever I did a project, and that's including my buddy Brad Hull and Matt Lopez and my other friend named Tim Gates, and And I'm good friends with another guy named Billy Dean. So I just bounce these musical ideas off of them. And another local good friend of mine that's been a huge influence is Paul Cardall too. He's a great piano player and kind of different genre, but those would be some of the bigger ones in my life.
Okay, well, thank you so much for answering our questions. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello and welcome to the game show. Today we're going to be playing a game called Shazam That Song. I'm joined here by Skylar, Ryan, and Charlie. Thanks again for coming on the show, Charlie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just a quick question: what genre of music is it? Mainly country or?
Mainly country,
Yeah.
yes. So if this is outside of country, I'm gonna struggle.
All right, good to know.
Sort of.
Skylar, Ryan, what's your thoughts? What genres do you listen to mainly?
I don't have a chance if it's country, so
Good.
I'm just being honest.
Good. You can change.
It's all good.
I listen to a lot of country too.
All right, yeah. So the rules of the game are simple. We're going to play 2 seconds of a song, and if you
Okay.
can guess it in those 2 seconds, you get a point.
Okay.
So if there's 2 people, if you raise your hand when you think you know it, right? And then I'll see who has it right. And if it's a tie, at the very end, we're going to have a special song played to break the tie.
Okay.
So really simple game. Can we get it started with
Are we naming the
first song?
title of the song or the artist?
Title is preferable, but
Okay.
if you can name artist,
Good.
I'll take
okay.
it too.
All right.
All right, first song, please.
That is oh my gosh, John Denver
Yeah.
and what was it, In the Wind? Is it? It's not. Home. What's that?
You should know this.
I know, but it's John Denver, which is
Yeah.
not necessarily country. It's kind of folkish, right?
Well, I mean, we'll call
Country
it country.
Country Roads?
Yeah, it is country
Yeah,
roads.
okay.
Good job. All right, so Charlie has 1 point, and Skylar and Ryan both have 0. All right, can we get the next song, please? Ryan?
Country road. Or no. Old
not
Town Road. Old Town
Ryan,
Road.
I'm sorry, that is not correct.
No.
Skylar?
Town Road.
That is correct.
Is it back?
Old Town
No.
Road.
Old Town
The
Road,
song's
okay.
been on
Oh
the top
my
charts
gosh.
for many weeks. It's written
Okay.
by Lil Nas, and
Oh my
not sure
gosh.
it's considered country. It's an interesting song of that.
Okay. Who's the singer on it? Who was the singer?
But Lil Nas.
Little. Okay.
It's an odd song. You should give it a listen. All right, can we get the
Sounded
next
country.
song,
Oh my
please?
gosh.
Skylar?
Die a Happy Man by
That
Thomas
is
Rhett.
correct.
Thank you.
All right,
Nice.
good job.
I didn't get that. Well, I sing that song. That's good.
Skylar has 2 points and Charlie has 1. And
One.
Ryan, you're stuck at a goose egg right now. How does that feel, man?
Yeah. Next question.
Next question. All right, can I get the next song, please? Ryan,
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, that is.
I actually
correct.
knew that one.
That song has recorded over 1 billion views on YouTube, and for a while is the
Wow.
most downloaded song. It's crazy to think that Korean songs that popular. All right, so Charlie and Ryan are both tied with 1. And
Skylar's got us whooped.
Skylar's
Yes.
in the lead, doubling their score. All right, can we get the next song, please?
I know that one. That mountain.
Yeah.
By Charlie Jenkins. You wouldn't know that at all. That's not even fair.
Yeah. No, we had to listen to the songs, so
Oh, thank
they
you.
should have known.
I knew that one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But, all right, Charlie and Skylar are deadlocked at 2.
If
and
we keep
Ryan's
it in
on
that artist, I've got it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool guy. That's what I've heard. All right, can we get the next song, please? Ryan, I start Ryan first.
You did?
I did.
Miss the Rain?
No, Charlie, I start
Is
Ryan.
it Toto Range in Africa? Or is it Kansas? I can't remember if it's Toto or Kansas. Or
It is Toto.
it's down in Africa. I miss the rains down in Africa. Something like that.
Can I get
Can
a
I guess
rebuttal?
it?
Can I get a re-guess?
No, Ryan. you
Can
please.
I guess it?
Skylar, you can.
Africa by Toto.
It is Africa by Toto.
Yeah, I gave the name though. That's like
Yeah,
half of it,
was-
right?
That
Toto?
was a little.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
all right.
That's- All right, can we get the next song, please? Miss Skylar?
Baby by Justin
What?
Bieber.
Yeah, that was.
I'm so proud I don't know that.
Yeah, that one for a while was the most disliked video on YouTube.
Oh,
But
that's great.
YouTube Rewind beat it recently, so
Okay.
good news. All right, can I get the next song, please?
That's mine.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I feel like I can't give you a point right now for that. 'cause
No, okay.
if you wrote it.
Yeah,
Sound
so
good.
she knows
is
it.
it Christmas time? Is it time for love?
Yeah, wow! You were cheating. She has to be back there.
She
Christmas time
knows
is
the
a time
song.
for
Yeah.
love.
Yeah,
I like
that
all of
is
them.
correct. All right, good job, Skylar.
I don't even know what the score total is. Do you?
I
think
lost
Skylar's
track.
winning.
Skylar
Yeah,
is
sure.
most likely winning.
Yeah.
Skylar's been killing you, and Ryan. Ryan, how many points do you have? You want to
1.
comment on that? 1. All right, that's. You missed a couple obvious.
Yeah, I know.
ones.
Let's not bring it up. It's okay.
All right. Can we get the next song, please?
In case you didn't know, by Brett Young.
That, that is correct. How much country do you listen to?
I like
I guess
her.
a lot.
She's super smart. I can tell. She's just like,
It's insane. Do you say that you just like jam out everywhere you go to your country, or?
Yeah,
she listens to all
I
kinds of
listen to
music. She's getting
everything.
it's good music. So we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get the next song, please? Skylar, you know it?
Gosh. Nope.
No.
Nobody knows it? All right, that's a first. All right, can we get the next 2 seconds, please? Try your hand first.
So that's Tim McGraw, and it's know the difference. Stay humble and kind.
Yes, that is correct. All right. Got beat.
Yeah,
How's that feel?
I did. That doesn't feel good.
All right, can we get to the next song, please?
Secret to surviving.
That's Kenny Rogers and the Gambler.
Yeah, that is an old song, and
You gotta know when to hold on.
no one to fold on.
Know when to fold on.
It's a good song. Yeah. So basically, that song, if you don't know backstory behind it, it's a very old song, and it was very popular for a very long time. And a lot of country singers said that they've drawn inspiration from that song. So, do you have a song that you've drawn inspiration from?
Oh man, I grew up a George Strait fan, so I listened to a lot of George Strait tunes, and so a lot of
Yeah.
those have those storyline type things.
That
and-
just like vibes with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get the next song, please?
Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
correct. Good job, Skylar. To those of you who don't know, Bohemian Rhapsody was written by Queen and is actually had a movie released about it very soon.
It was
Charlie.
released, yeah. It was
Yeah.
good.
Charlie. Now this is a little bit of a surprise, but
Okay.
can you do a little musical number for us? I don't know. I know you don't have your guitar with you or anything, but
What am I gonna sing?
I don't know. That's up to you. That
Oh,
mountain, if
that.
you
Oh,
can. But I mean, if not, you can always.
we gotta have a tempo. Let's sing that. Let's sing the chorus to the Gambler then.
All right.
You know what?
Yeah, I do.
So do you know the story behind it? It's like
On a
Kenny
warm
Rogers.
summer's
Kenny
night.
Rogers
Yeah.
sings this, right?
Yeah.
And do you know who Kenny Rogers is? All right.
He's an old guy.
He's getting older, but he was a huge hit. Anyway, so it goes.
Yeah.
Ready? Y'all. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. There you go.
Think you can match it, Skylar and Ryan?
I don't know that song.
That's all right. We'll have to pick one y'all know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You
it's a
know,
great tune.
out of all the songs that you've performed and everything, what song resonates most with you?
That I wrote, or that I just sing to.
Just sing, like. in
Well, like I sing, the national anthem is by far one of the most emotional songs you can sing. And you're out there on your own,
Yeah.
but it's got this power to it that is just awesome. Again, another one that people like. Sometimes people think it's overplayed, but to me, it's a great song. Is "God Bless the USA."
Yeah, that is a good song. All right. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. We're going to have to close it up now.
Who I think we're gonna give it to Skylar.
Yeah, I think Skylar won. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and good day, guys.